as our Ian Rapport now tweeting after an initial report by Jay Glazer. Rapport says the Cowboys have officially fired Coach Jason Garrett, and Garrett has allowed them to do so. Source confirms to Ian. Obvious, but now done. Something we've been talking about since the Cowboys season officially came to a close with an Eagles win in Week 17 that won the NFC East and eliminated the Cowboys from the playoffs officially. So Jason Garrett's tenure in Dallas now reportedly officially over here. This is something we've been talking about, obviously quite a bit. And look, I think the lack of playoff success for Jason Garrett, just one playoff win in his seasons in Dallas is eventually what did him in as the Cowboys were unable to get back to the highest level.
Yeah, and our reporters reported on this network all year that Jason Garrett needed to have a deep run in the playoffs, possibly even get to the Super Bowl in order to keep his job. And so we know that Jerry Jones recently have put all his resources into the team, signing all your star players, hoping to make a Super Bowl run. And when it didn't happen, obviously there was a lot of disappointment, and you wondered right at the end of the season, TD, what took so long? Why did it take a full week for us to get to this point where you finally say Jason Garrett has been let go?
And just like a player, right? When you don't perform, you are at risk of losing your job. And Jason Garrett understands that that's the business. You have to win games. You got to win in the postseason. And so we kind of saw this coming. Jerry Jones said this. He said that this year he's going to judge him off of his playoff success. Yeah. Well, he didn't go to the playoffs this year. So, I like Jason Garrett as a person. As a coach, he has not done the job good enough to keep his job. And so that's why he's in this situation right now. And because the talent is there. The talent is there, and it's been there, and they just have not been a team to basically live up to that, the expectations of that team. Every year they come in, we're always crowning the Cowboys as this is the year they're going to the Super Bowl. This is the year. And it's been 9 seasons. They haven't come close.
Well, it's been the inconsistency from the Cowboys. And to me, that falls all on coaching, Brett. When you talk about consistent play from your players, coaches get players ready to play, and they just haven't been ready to play every single week they go out there.
He'll finish with an 85-67 record in 10 seasons as the Cowboys head coach, and just finishing up his 4th 8-8 season as the head coach of the Cowboys. Let's bring in our NFL Network insider, Ian Rapport, joins us now. Ian, the language of how this was going to get done always seemed to be a little bit tricky with Jason Garrett's contract expiring in just a matter of days. In the end, how did we come to this decision and this eventual determination?
Well, the Cowboys made this determination a long time ago. And in fact, we've known really since Sunday night when the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs, didn't win the NFC East, we're not going forward with the season, that Jason Garrett was not going to be the coach of the Cowboys. We knew again on Monday. We've known the whole week. And, of course, the Cowboys already began their search to replace him. They have met with Marvin Lewis, the former Bengals coach. They've also met with Mike McCarthy, the former Packers coach. That was yesterday. So we have known for a long time that they were going to move on from Jason Garrett. It was just a matter of them telling Garrett he was out, which, of course, they actually have done several times, and he's known, but then him basically accepting it and saying, yes, okay, you're going to move on. I'm going to move on as well. The Cowboys originally were just thinking that the contract would expire, it would become obvious, and that was that.
Right.
Instead, because they basically already had the coaching search, it's already become public. The whole world knows that they are interviewing candidates and trying to replace Jason Garrett. They finally decided this afternoon, just move on, tell him, and kind of go forward. And now Jason Garrett no longer under contract with the Cowboys, so he gets free a couple days earlier than his contract says, and everybody can move on with their lives.
And so you mentioned the Mike McCarthy interview and the Marvin Lewis interview. Any other indication as to what the Cowboys are looking for and where they might go to find it as they now move on from Jason Garrett officially?
Well, one of the coaches there expected to target is Lincoln Riley, the Oklahoma coach. That is someone the Jones family has a very close relationship with, someone they have long respected as far as his X's and O's acumen and the kind of job he does developing quarterbacks. And the way that a coach works with a quarterback is obviously something that is going to be paramount in this coaching search, whether it's Marvin Lewis, and Mike Garafolo has mentioned that'd be Hugh Jackson coming in to work with Marvin Lewis if he was hired as the Cowboys coach, whether it's McCarthy himself or whether it be Lincoln Riley himself also, just the job he's done with several Heisman Trophy winners at Oklahoma. I'd also expect Dan Mullen, the Florida coach, to perhaps get a call from the Jones family. Of course, Dak Prescott's coach at Mississippi State. The Cowboys are basically ongoing with their coaching search, so might as well tell Jason Garrett that it's officially official, even though we've known for about a week that this was going to be the outcome.
And, I think we heard when following the loss or rather their win in Week 17, but after finding out the Eagles won and the Cowboys knew they weren't going to make the playoffs, Jason Garrett, addressing the media afterwards, was asked about whether he wanted to continue coaching. It sounded like he had, no plans to step away from coaching. Is there any early indication as to what kind of interest Garrett might have as he's now on the open market here, Ian?
Well, I know the job that Jason Garrett has thought about if he was let go from the Cowboys, and of course now he finally mercifully was this afternoon. The job that he has thought about, the job that he's discussed with his assistant coaches is, of course, the Giants job. We'll see if they end up bringing him in for an interview, and that is a place that has discussed hiring Jason Garrett in the past. If Garrett was free a couple years back, they might have taken a look at him during one of their previous coaching searches. So that would be the job really to keep an eye on. No indication that right now they are interested, and I know they have Matt Rule they're going to interview and a couple others, obviously. But Matt Rule is kind of the name to watch there. But we will see if the Giants end up having interest in Jason Garrett. I know he has interest in them.
Yeah, obviously with some playing experience there with the Giants organization, a familiar face to those there in New York. All right, Ian, thanks very much for all your help today as the Cowboys now have officially moved on from Jason Garrett. So, we've got some more insight to get to here on this decision. Our Judy Battista is with us now on the phone, so we'll say hello to Judy. As Judy, we were talking on the aftermath this past Monday multiple times about the eventuality of this move and a move that we all seem to think was going to happen. What's your reaction now that it is official?
I guess I probably have the same reaction many people have, which is what took this so long? I mean, why wait a week? But this seemed inevitable, not even since last Monday, but this seemed inevitable since November, that loss to the Patriots when Jerry Jones really put Jason Garrett on notice for the first time. Ever since then, you felt like he was on his way out the door. So it was just a sort of strange the way it ended here, waiting a week to make it official, let him do exit interviews with players who he is not going to be coaching next year even, and conducting interviews for the head coaching job while it was officially still occupied.
And Judy, we heard Ian Rapport mention some of the names that the Cowboys have already talked with, Marvin Lewis, Mike McCarthy, the interest on the college ranks, as Ian talked about, Lincoln Riley with the Oklahoma Sooners, and then Dan Mullen also as the head coach of the Florida Gators, who Dak Prescott played under when they were both at Mississippi State. Any thoughts to you on what would make the most sense, the path that would make the most sense for Jerry Jones to go here?
Well, we talked a little bit about this on the aftermath last week. To me, this is a team that is constructed to win right now, right? They have the quarterback, they have the running back, they have the receiver, they have a stellar offensive line. They're ready to go now. And so to me, I wonder if you go with a college coach who has never been a head coach in the NFL, you have an inevitable learning curve. No matter how good they are, there is some sort of ramp-up period. And does Jerry Jones want to wait for somebody to learn on the job when he's got all these pieces in place right now? He wants to win. He's dying to win. And so I suspect that he will lean more towards people who have had NFL experience.
Does this still feel to you like the most appealing job that's out there right now after Ron Rivera is really the only opening that we've seen filled is he's taken the job with the Washington Redskins?
Yeah, this is a really appealing job, again, because there's so much personnel in place. Obviously, Jerry Jones has a ton of resources. The facilities are top-notch. He will spend whatever has to be spent to support the team. As we've talked about in the past, you have to be comfortable with Jerry Jones's role with the franchise. He's not just the owner. He is the general manager. He's very active. He's very vocal. You've got to be comfortable with that because that's probably not going to change at this point. So if you're uncomfortable with that dynamic, this is not the job for you.
So there will be 3 new head coaches in the NFC East starting next season after it is now official that the Cowboys and Jason Garrett have parted ways. The Redskins have found their new head coach with Ron Rivera, while the Giants continue their search. Judy Battista live with us on the phone here on NFL Now. Thanks very much, Judy. Appreciate that.